Hey man, real stay safe shit. You already know what the fuck going on. So we posted here today. We gotta talk about this unfortunate situation that's occurring. We gotta talk about this unfortunate situation that's occurring with Meek Mill and his whole fucking label, aka Rick Ross, because Maybach Music Group is what he's signed to. He's probably signed through a subsidiary or some shit, some other type of deal too. And I think he signed to Roc Nation, right, for like fucking management. I'm not 100% sure on the Roc Nation part, but I know he signed a Maybach Music Group. And in case you haven't seen the other video that I made about Rick Ross and the Meek Mill altercation in Miami and shit, tap into that shit because I basically kind of explain it further and what's really happening right now. But Meek Mill has basically going down bad with this whole label situation. He said he's made none of the money from his music ever, I think, in his last tweet. I think that's what he was basically saying. I can find the tweet and like actually quote it and shit right here. Basically, Meek Mill says, and I quote, "I haven't gotten paid for music and I don't know how much money labels make off me. I need lawyers ASAP. Ask the record label, how much have you spent on me as an artist? Then you ask how much you have made off me as an artist. I'm about to make my record deal public by Monday just to let the world see what these people are on." Now we can see it. I'm not sure if he ever ended up making his record deal public or anything like that, and that kind of been happened. But basically you can kind of see the gist of the situation. I was saying this earlier, this nigga Meek Mill has been in the game for mad long. He probably still has the same type of deal structure that he had when he first started, and that was before music was even lit on streaming platforms and shit, so they're not even accounting for that shit. And like I say, labels like to do this shit where they basically spend as little money possible on running your shit up and fucking take the large amount of money that you make off your music just by your name alone. So they basically aren't really providing anything, especially when you're at the level. I mean, like, they're providing shit for like smaller artists, like when Meek Mill was still coming up and like he wasn't known. But it's like when you're at the level of like Meek Mill, where it's like his name is known universally, and this nigga basically is like known in the type of way that like he's a household name. There's nothing really else that the label can really do for you, because it's like you're already famous as fuck. At that point, it's really just like making fire music, getting to promotion behind it, and it's like there's only so much promotion the label can even really do that you can't really do yourself. It's like you're gonna have to figure it out through other avenues or some shit that music isn't hitting on like a mainstream type vibe like his shit is. But basically he's getting fucked, because it's like he probably has the same deal structure that he had when he first started, when streams weren't really even a thing. Probably didn't even renew that shit. Probably doesn't even, like, the option for his shit is probably non-existent, meaning that like this nigga has, like, he's forced to keep going through these deals if he doesn't recoup. And I wonder if he's even recouping. It doesn't even seem like he has like the numbers available to him, and he doesn't really even know. He says he needs lawyers ASAP and shit. Like, bruh, this is just a fucked ass situation. And this is what I will say to the day that I die, that fuck these labels. It's not 1985. You do not need those niggas anymore. Like, I kind of feel you if you're like an up and coming artist that isn't like a super well-known person. Maybe get like a distribution deal or something, get something so people recognize your face. But it's like at the same time, the people don't realize what you're signing away when you sign to a label. You're signing away your rights to make music whenever the fuck you want to. You're signing away your future basically for your present. So a lot of times also they get like a licensing deal for a certain amount of times, 5, 10, 15 years and shit. So the label basically makes all that money off of you, especially in like the type of deal, a really shitty 360 deal. The label gonna be like, if you really want real promotion, they're gonna be getting like 70 to 80% of everything that you're making. And if you're not recouping it back on the music, you're gonna have to give it in tours, the merch, the ticket sales, all that shit. So basically you're getting the fuzzy end of the lollipop, you feel me? The most fucked up part about this shit is these niggas don't even be telling you about this shit, that you really don't even need those niggas anymore, especially if you're like in Meek Mill's situation. But I mean, like, Rick Ross is a person that runs the label. You gotta look at it at both sides, because Rick Ross is the person that put his money into Meek Mill, into investments. So yeah, he obviously deserves some money back. So it's not really even his fault, because if it weren't fucking Rick Ross, it would be a different label fucking this nigga. But it's like, this nigga Meek Mill just didn't have an understanding of how the music industry works, being like how he came up to even understand that. And shit is even different now with streams, because like back then you had to actually sell physical copies and all that shit and like distribute that shit. So now there's no cost to all this shit. Really, the fucking all Rick Ross has to do is drop a fucking Meek Mill album, and when he drops the Meek Mill album, like obviously he's gonna get some money back because this nigga has diehard fans. But obviously Meek Mill, he's not gonna really get his money back. He's probably making no money from the music at all, which is majority of these artists nowadays are not making any fucking money off their music. Probably making like fractions of amounts, probably making enough for like rent for an apartment or some shit. Majority of the money from their music is going to the record label. The way that these artists are making money are they probably have better splits for like performances and like features and all that shit, but they still have to give a label the cut. But the label, most of the time, I wouldn't be surprised if they're owning like 80% of the royalties or more, masters and publishing and all that shit, and like the artist is barely making anything. And then at the same time, like they have to go and like do these performances and get it cut off that shit. They get their song in like a movie or some shit, they have to give the label a cut of that. It's like nowadays you don't even have to do that shit. All you gotta do is like, imagine it's blowing up on TikTok, that's free. You don't even gotta fucking do shit. I mean, I guess you had to pay to like put out the music and get people to see it, but it's like, if it's fire, then niggas will see it. And I don't know, Meek Mill's situation is definitely not an isolated incident. Like, this type of shit happens all the time, and it's sad to see for real. But at the same time, it's just a lack of fundamental understanding of how the music industry works, and it's fucking him over in the future, because it's like, he's a different artist than what he was when he first came up, when he was first part of Maybach Music Group. Like, this nigga has people signed now, and he's doing the same thing that Rick Ross is doing, but it's like, people evolve, people get bigger, and at this point, if this nigga even can, he needs to fucking be independent, because he has the money to fund his own career. He can probably fund his own tours, he can fund his own album. Sure, the album, I mean, I feel like it's gonna do just the same if he's independent or not, because he has the connections and the money to do whatever the fuck needs to be done for promotion and shit. He can get a distribution deal if he needs to, but it's like, being an independent artist at his level is necessary. No cap, man. Like, but yeah, man, I'm definitely like 1,000% sure that the altercation that Meek Mill and Rick Ross had in Miami, if it did happen, I'm pretty sure it happened, has to do with the whole label situation and the fact that this nigga can't get out of his deal because it's fucking a contract and shit. But it's just kind of sucks. And the worst part is you can't even get lawyers. Like, when you first come up, it's hard to get lawyers, and you can't get a lawyer through the fucking record label because that nigga not working in your interest and shit. So it's just gonna be interesting to see what the fuck happens. Hopefully this nigga is able to get out of this slave contract, and hopefully he doesn't fucking, I know he signed niggas like Bori and shit, so hopefully he doesn't have the same type of slave contract for these niggas where they're in their deal forever and shit. But at least he realizes that you need another form of getting money, because this fucking money, this, especially now with streams, the record labels be getting the streams directly, the money. It's like, it's a game changer, bro. Like, these niggas be getting all that money and leaving you with nothing and shit. But hey, man, real stay shit. You already know what the fuck going on. We dropping some new clothes November 1st, face mask, all that shit. Tap in, link in the bio, man. Hey, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, all that shit. We gonna keep you updated. Let's go.